Hey folks, Pastor Sean coming to you with today's daily devotion. We are in Psalms chapter 1. We're looking at verse 6. It's the last verse in this chapter. It says, "For the Lord knows the ways of the righteous, but the ways of the ungodly shall perish." This is just a final thought by David, saying that the righteous and the wicked will be separated. The righteous will go to the right, the wicked shall go to the left. But I like this portion of the verse right here. For the Lord knows the way of the righteous. God understands where you are. God understands what you're going through. God understands what's on your scale, what's good, what's bad, what's otherwise going on in your life. God knows what's going on in the way of the righteous. When I was younger, I guess I was probably in third, fourth grade, somewhere around in there. Our teacher, I went to a Christian school for 3 years. Our teacher gave us a breakdown of some of the Greek terminology and some of the words that are used in the Old Testament to describe God. One of them was omniscient, all-knowing. There was omnipotent, which is all power, and omnipresent, which is everywhere all the time. But omniscient was the one that kind of grabbed me. It's because God is all-knowing. He knows the end from the beginning. He is the Alpha, the beginning, and the Omega, the end. He wrote it all down on the pages of time before time existed. You see, God exists outside of time. When He looks at our lives, and I've used this illustration many times and will continue to use it, when He looks at our life, He sees the entire train. He sees the entire train of our life. We see the boxcar that's in front of us. He sees the entire train. He sees the curves that are ahead, the bridges that are ahead, the tunnels that are ahead. He sees everything. God knows the way of the righteous. That's why He steers us in directions that we need to go. That's why He leads us in the paths of righteousness. He knows the way of the righteous. He knows what you're doing. He knows what you're going to do. He knows the thought and the intent of the heart. Nothing is hidden from Him. And yet, He still allows us to make the decisions each and every day. Do we follow Christ? Do we do what's right? Do we follow Satan and do what's evil? The Lord knows the way of the righteous, but the way of the ungodly shall perish. We just need to remember on a day-to-day basis that God understands what you're going through, that God knows right where you are, that God knows the situation that you're in, that God knows. Plain and simple. He knows everything. But the way of the ungodly shall perish. The ungodly go their own way. They do their own thing. They act their own way. They follow no rules, no regulations. They just live outside of the realm of the Father. And that's straight up rebellion. That's straight up disobedience. That is straight up evil. You can choose one or two, good or evil. You can either choose God or you can choose the world. Unfortunately, we have a lot of really good people who've never chosen Christ, never chosen God. And the Bible says that those people will look at Him on the day of Pentecost or on the day of judgment and be surprised because they're good moral people, but because they rejected Christ, He will say to them, "The way of the ungodly shall perish. Depart from me, workers of iniquity. I never knew you." So, choose this day whom you will serve. As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. I love you. I'm praying for you. Hope you have a magnificent day. I will see you again tomorrow. God bless you as always, is my prayer.